Ali, hello. Please give an introduction about yourself.
Hey, so I'm Ali. I'm from Canada, 24 years old, and I've been in the real world for about 2 months now.
Okay, 2 months. What campus did you get into when you joined?
Yeah, so initially, before even joining the real world, I was, doing a bit of freelancing. I'm a technical writer, but when I joined the real world, the most sense that it made for me to do was to go into the freelancing campus, which now is the client acquisition campus, and that's where I've been able to get most of my wins.
hmm And maybe I should have started with how did you actually find out about the real world? What made you decide to join?
Yeah, so I've been following Andrew for a while now, which I guess like that's how everyone would find out about it. And I've been thinking of actually joining it for like a long time, but just like everybody else, like I was lazy. I'm like, I think I can do it by myself. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It'll be okay. And I remember like about 2 months ago, because that's when I joined, I was like, you know what? $50. Like I've gone out with my friends and I've spent like north of $70 within a matter of one like hour. Why don't I give this a try? Like I have legit nothing to lose. And I remember I was sitting down at my screen at jointherealworld.com and I'm just staring at it. I'm like, join now. Take the blue pill, take the red pill. I'm like, should I do it? And then I just take out my card. I'm like, you know what? Why not? Why not? Like I have nothing to lose. How long am I gonna wait for? And so I did it, and yeah, 2 months later, I'm still here. And yeah, I mean, I guess it's just mostly arrogance, right? Where it's like, oh yeah, you can do it by yourself. It's like I know better. And I remember Andrew saying it. It's like, if you know so much, why are you broke? Like seriously, if you know so much, then why are you broke? And not to say that I was broke or anything like that, but I wanted to learn. So I'm like, okay, learn from somebody who's done it before. Let's give it a shot. It's been totally worth it, completely and utterly.
Right. Okay, and another reason why people might not join is because they're thinking, maybe it's a scam. But in your case, how different were your expectations from what you're expecting compared to when you actually joined, or is this what you expected?
It's much more than I expected. I mean, the community in and of itself, I would join for the community just for the community itself because everybody is so active, and it doesn't matter if you go to the content creation campus or the client acquisition campus. It literally does not matter. Their aim is every single day. The professors who are teaching you or creating the courses, for example, client acquisition, Professor Dylan Madden, he's there in the campus like 18 hours a day. That's actually crazy on top of everything else that he has got going on. There's daily lessons, there's recordings, he's in the chats, and he's also making announcements, and there's AMAs every single day as well. So I actually thought it would just be like, hey, by the way, here's some courses, watch the videos. You might get a reply from a professor, maybe, but no, it's like AMAs every single day. You want your question answered? Just be fast enough and you'll get a custom answer. And so it was crazy because I thought to myself, I'm like, there's no way that I'm gonna have access to a millionaire professor. It's impossible. How is that possible? Like he has too many things going on. There's no way. But he's there answering questions every single day. So I'm like, okay, this is way past my expectations. And they're there every single day, no matter what. And we'll talk about discipline in a second as well later. But yeah, it completely like blew my expectations out of the water. I was like, yeah, it's amazing.
All right. Okay, and you said you joined the client acquisition campus. So, which lessons was it that benefited you, and how did you actually end up making money because of it?
Yeah, so when you join the client acquisition campus, the first thing that Dylan asks you to do is he has this start here because he has different categories. And one of the courses that he makes you take is the money bag mindset course. And it's about 5 or 6 lessons. And I come back to it very often as well. And one of the things that he says is if they can do it, so can you. And success leaves like clues. And because I was doing like freelancing for a while and my client was with me for since like about last December, I was thinking about raising a price and I was like, you know what, I'm not sure if I can do it or not. And I was like, I have no access to anybody else who's doing this. What if my skill is not valuable enough? What if this? What if that's, like all these different things? And he said to me very specifically, and he said, listen, if they can do it, so can you. There's people less skilled than you who have done it. And so what makes you think that you can't do it? As long as you show up, as long as you deliver good work, so can you. And I thought to myself, let me give it a shot. And so I did. And so I said, okay, let me charge for this piece of work $1,000. And I crafted it in a way which Professor Dylan Madden um, asked me to do, and boom, instantly, it's like $8,000 deal, like that. And I think to myself, I'm like, that's actually crazy how you can craft a few words and articulate yourself in a way that will allow someone to give you thousands of dollars per month.
Mhm.
Isn't that crazy?
Mhm.
And that's how it started. And it's going on. It's getting like even better.
Mhm.
So yeah, a lot of it is mindset, but a lot of it is also someone who's been on your path before and telling you what to do.
Right.
Exactly.
And you skipped a step. And you forgot to tell us, how did you acquire that client that paid you? You said 8,000?
Yes. So I mean, the project that I'm working on is roughly speaking that, but the way that I acquired it, and at the time I didn't know about the real world because this is December, but I'll bring it back to Tate because Andrew has a lot to do with it. And so I remember I was watching a YouTube video, and this guy on YouTube is like, I need someone to work with, and he creates like computer science content, which is what I have a degree in. And he's like, oh, does someone want to work with me? And I was like, oh, there's no way that he's gonna pick me because he has thousands and like millions of subscribers. There's no way he's gonna pick me. But I remember like I was listening to an Andrew's video, and he said something along the lines of, you have to perform daily regardless of how you feel, even if you don't feel like it. You should just get up and do it anyways. And honestly, if I hadn't gotten up that day listening to that video, and if I didn't fill out like a Google form that I did, there's no way I would have landed that client. So by extension, yes, it's all Andrew. And then now a real world, which is just like a brainchild of his. So that's how it went.
All right. And is that the only client you've landed so far? Or did you land others after joining?
So right now, this client that I'm working with is a retainer, and I've been working with him for a while, and I'm able to make a full-time income. But I recently got a testimonial, and my short-term goal is to get more off of him.
Okay, got it. To upsell, what kind of services would you offer in terms of upselling? Or did you not mean upselling when you said get more?
Yeah, so in terms of get more, like I'm a technical writer. I write about software and computer science, and a lot of the articles that I write have to do with um, I don't want to get into too much like computer science and everything like that, but basically, there are technical articles that folks can read that can help them get jobs in the field. That's kind of the stuff that I write. And there's quite a few people that are within that industry, and that's kind of like what I would be targeting at. But I've upsold this particular client as well. I mean, I started off with doing what 200 per article, and now I do, roughly speaking, about 1,000, and I've been able to do that with the real world. So yeah,
Hmm. Good. And how different is your average day now compared to before you joined the real world? Has it changed?
I would. So I never had like any vices or anything like that. I mean, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't have any kind of like bad things that I do. So I didn't have anything big to correct. But one thing that I underestimated is how much work it actually takes to get to where it is that you need to get to. And when I joined the real world, I was like, oh yeah, there's no way. I'm already making money, so I think I'm good. But when I joined, there's people out there who are like 19, 18, or making like 10K, or doing like 15K, and they're there like every single day, and they're very active. They're actively trying to get better. And Professor Dillman talks about this. He says you need to actually try. And the point is very nuanced because it's like trying versus actually trying is completely different. It doesn't mean working 16 hours a day and just doing the same thing every single day. It just means, okay, this didn't work. what can I change in order to make the other thing work? Okay, that didn't work. And now thinking about different stuff, being innovative. And so that really like stuck with me. And I still think about it every single day. And I'm like, okay, am I actually trying? It's like, okay, yeah, I've tried. It's like, yeah, did you really? You scrolled 1 hour on Instagram, you did this, you did a bit of work, you grabbed some coffee, like actually trying. And yeah, now I think about it and I have someone to keep me accountable because like, okay, I'm joining the MA every single day and I'm also doing the Professor Pope's calls on a content creation campus, the energy calls that he does every single day. And it's amazing because I'm like, okay, everybody else is working, so I should be working too.
Mhm.
Actually working. Yeah.
Right. And since you mentioned Content Creation Campus, did you take any lessons from that?
So the content creation campus, I'm not a video editor as such, but the reason why I'm in the content creation campus particularly is the 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 professor is amazing. I mean, Pope, his energy and the way that he explains things, especially his Wudang wisdom, is absolutely incredible, especially when it comes to mindset and everything like that. And he does that every single day, and that's what I've been using in order to just, I guess, integrate into my life a lot of his lessons and everything. Um, but also AI, because AI is big not only in video editing, but also in my content right now. If you write articles and everything like that, you need AI in order to create content. And Stable Diffusion, for example, Midjourney, and all these different things, they're needed in order to create better content. And so I've been able to use some of that in order to integrate into my own work. And even my current client was surprised. It's like, oh, I haven't explored this. This is amazing. How did you know this? So it's just that's how it is.
Awesome. Okay. What would you say was the biggest challenge you faced when you were implementing lessons from the real world?
It's interesting you asked this because it's gonna sound so simple. The biggest challenges, and I think everybody faces this, is just sticking to what it is that you need to do, the checklist that the professor gives you, and doing that every single day, even if you don't see any results. Like, for example, Professor Dillman has this morning checklist, then he has this evening checklist, and now he has another checklist called the heroic checklist. And he says you should wake up, do this every single day, even if you don't see results yet, and you'll be fine. But I think a lot of people, including me, and I did this before, and I still do it to this day sometimes, where it's just like, you wake up, you're like, oh, is it really going to work? I'm not really sure. But you have to keep going every single day, regardless of whether you think it's working or not. Because, again, it goes back to my previous point. If you know so much, why are you broke? If you know so much, if you know better, then why? So it's like, do you have anything else to do? Do you have anything better to do? Not to do a checklist? Yeah, but I don't think I'm going to do the checklist because it's not working. Okay, by then. Like that's what I tell myself. And it's incredible because it actually works. It's like, okay, do the checklist. And out of all the times that I've gotten up and done it, even if I didn't feel like it, I've never regretted it. Not once.
Mm.
Not once. Ever. It hasn't happened. So yeah, that's the hardest. It's the simple steps. And I see a lot of beginners as well in the beginner chat in client acquisition asking, it's like, yeah, bro, but here's my niche, here's my skill. What should I do? It's just like take action and do the thing. Yeah, I know, but do you really think that's gonna work? You haven't tried, so how can you know,
Mhm.
right?
And since you mentioned Tate earlier being a big part of why you landed your current client, what kind of an impact has Tate had on you other than that?
Yeah, I mean, only positive, honestly. I mean, his philosophy towards life is something that's completely utterly different. I think that's exactly why he's so successful and why everybody in the real world thinks the exact same way that he does. Um, the biggest thing that I would say is like I used to be the kind of person who's like kind of given to his emotions. And what that basically means is I would wake up and say, hey, here's a bunch of things that I'm going to do today. And this is what I'm going to do in the morning. This is what I'm going to do in the afternoon. And then this is what I'm going to do in the evening. But when it comes time to the evening, a bunch of stuff has happened. You're like, I'm not really sure if I should do this. Like, do I really need to do that thing or not? And I wouldn't do it. But the one thing that I would say is if I took anything away from him, and I still internalize this every single day, is it doesn't matter how you feel. And if you only feel like performing when you're winning, then you're never going to actually get to where it is that you want to get to. It's impossible. Like, because life is too variable. Like, human beings are too complicated. You can't just be like, uh, oh, it goes like this every single time and it should be perfect. It can't be. And so he mentioned, he's like, I want to be proud of myself and I'm going to do the things that make me proud of myself, regardless of how I feel. And honestly, like, ever since I've been doing that, it's changed completely. I can tell you, I mean, last year it wasn't like this at all. Even if I was listening to Tate, it wasn't like this. It's changed completely, and it's something inside of you. Like honestly, once you are actually trying and once you're actually doing the things that you know you're supposed to do, it just changes something inside of you, and you're happy inside, even if you know, if even if you don't see the results yet. So that's what it is, and there's no secret. You have to do it. That's all it is. You have to, even if it is raining, even if the sun is shining, you have to do it. And and the world doesn't care, quite
Mhm.
frankly. No one does. Because there's billions of people on Earth. It doesn't matter. You're just like a small little dot within the universe. Who cares? So you need to care. And if you don't care, then you are screwed.
Okay, quite an answer. And I guess we can go on to, since you're on this trajectory, where do you see your life heading in the short term, medium term, and long term?
Yeah, so short term is get a testimony from the current client, like in terms of like business, just improve on my skill that I'm doing currently and just keep producing even better results. And the one thing that I will say is, and I still think about it every single day, every single time I produce a piece of work, it's just like, hey, is this going to make money for my client? Am I providing value? Because I only make money if they make money. And so that's what I want to be able to do. And with the retainer client that I have currently, I've done so much work for him that, the website that he had in the beginning was very bare bones. A lot of the work is mine. So I've talked to Professor Badil about this as well. And if I can get a partnership with him and do a revenue share, that's my number one thing that I want to be able to do. And then number two is from the testimony, if I can get a referral, or it's just a matter of when, get a second client and then increase my income even more. Yeah, that's what I want to be able to do. And in terms of like fitness, I mean, uh, I've been into fitness for a while, but honestly, like Professor Dylan does courses with even the fitness professor. I believe his name is Alex, um, in the real world, and like it's not just you don't want to be a rich dork. So you want to be fit, you want to have money, you want to have every single thing. It's just like across the board, all tens. So that's what I want to be able to do, especially like in the long term, maintain that, and hopefully, I have my team one day. 'Cause that's one thing that I want to do. Yeah, it's only been 2 months. Who knows what
Yeah.
happens? But yeah, we'll try our best.
Okay, sounds very solid. And I'm happy to wrap up with for people who are unsure about joining the real world, because what if they think it could be a scam? What advice would you have to them?
I would say be logical about it. I mean, I even see like so many people on Instagram, they would see like a post of Andrew or something like that. It's like, I don't like him, but what he says is logical. It's like, okay, if you think what he says is logical, then by extension, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out, okay, fine, it's $50 a month. Why don't you give it a try? Yeah, I know, but I don't think so. I think it's just laziness, and a lot of it is arrogance as well. And I was the same way. I would say you spend $50 going out drinking like a fish, getting hammered. Why don't you do something other than doing that? Like invest in yourself. And you can cancel anytime. Just do 1 month and then see for yourself. And honestly, I think that a lot of people who say like it's a scam as well, they just don't want to work. Like if you genuinely want to work, then you won't say it's a scam because you take accountability, right? Instead of being like people in the real world like, oh yeah, it didn't work, so it's a scam. Like it's like you have to do the work, obviously. Like there's no magic pill, like I was saying before. So be a little bit more open-minded, take some self accountability, and results will show for themselves.
Solid. Okay. And if people want to find out more about you or contact you, where can they do so?
Yeah, so I'm on LinkedIn for business purposes. My username is Ali Malik, so that's ALIMALIK 99. And then on Instagram, which I'm more active on, it's two underscores Ali Malik S and two underscores. So contact me there and we can talk. We can talk the real world, we can talk business, we can talk mindset, anything.
Cool. We'll add those to the description of the video, so anyone interested, check that. Yeah, Ali, thank you for coming on and sharing your experience with the real world and your insights, everything. I look forward to seeing how everything progresses for you then in the future. And we can stay in touch for that. And yeah, wish you all the best.
Perfect. Thank you.